evening and welcome to our meeting this night in April. One more month left of school, so we're going towards the finish line this year. We'll jump right into our meeting and start off with a high note with our awards and recognition.
All right, so first thing this evening, we have Northern Elementary School teacher and SCEA president, Lisa Hanson. Ms. Hanson, if you could please come up and join me. All right, Ms. Hanson is among 46 educators in the nation to receive the California Casualty Award for Teaching Excellence from the NEA Foundation. This award is presented for leadership, excellence in the classroom, family and community engagement, commitment to equity and diversity, and advocacy for the teaching profession. It will be presented at the NEA Foundation Salute to Excellence in Education on May 5th in Washington, D.C. Please join me in celebrating Ms. Hanson.
No pressure, right? No pressure, right?
I will say, we know that Scott County Schools and SCA will be represented well next week, and we're at a time where those that oppose public education sometimes try to divide educators. But I think it's fair for me to say this, Ms. Hanson, from our conversations, that we have the shared belief that educators from superintendents to student teachers need to stand united so that we can advocate for the profession together if we are to make any kind of meaningful impact. So again, I thank you for your time for our district. Next, so for this next group, I'm gonna ask that the students hold off till the end to come up. So I don't want them to, where Ms. Hanson came up early, I don't want them feeling like I don't know what to do. Do I come up? Do I not? So I wanted to get into this next group. So next we have with us our gifted and talented students from all three middle schools, as well as two freshmen who recently attended the Kentucky United Nations Assembly with great success. Scott County students represented France, Ireland, Iceland, and Chad and worked for months to practice parliamentary procedures, create costumes, choreograph culturally relevant dances, paint and create display pieces, and write resolutions for these countries. Peter Wagner and Keegan Bell received the award for Outstanding Security Council Team, and they represented the United States in the CUNA Security Council. Clayton Roberts, Charlie Holt, and Charlotte Iranpour were nominated as Outstanding Speakers. Charlie Holt, Charlotte Iranpour, Jackson Kirk, and Jillian Johnson presented a resolution for Ireland, which passed the General Assembly and was endorsed by the Secretary General. And I'm also told that Jillian Johnson participated in the recent American Mathematics competition and scored in the top 3% among all middle school students in the nation, and was awarded the D.E. Shaw Young Woman in Mathematics Certificate by the Mathematics Association of America, recognizing her as one of the highest scoring female students in the United States. And finally, among this high-achieving group, Mr. Nate Reeves was elected as President of Security Council for CUNA 2024. Students, if you would, please come up and I'll present you with a challenge coin for your recognition of your success.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Channel your Renee.
Yes. One more. All right, parents.
Congratulations. All right, we've got one more student group here. So this esteemed group of young scholars from Stamping Ground Elementary School had an undefeated academic team season. The 4th and 5th graders competed in various academic subjects, finishing 8-0 after the district practice rounds. They remained undefeated through districts and regionals and were invited to compete at nationals in Chicago. Ms. Becky Nelson and myself are longtime, many-year volunteers for KAAC and academic competitions, and so I think we were both, didn't realize nationals was a thing. So very, very huge accomplishment. So we join our proud coach, Natasha Stephen, and principal, Megan Wilhite, in recognizing this impressive accomplishment. Students, yeah, let me. All right, students, please come forward as I call your name so that we can offer you congratulations. Sorry. All right. Maggie Beal. All right. Micah Connie. Colton Van Gilder. Say that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
All right. Eli Coleman. All right, and last but not least, Oliver Kettering. We are there. Let's stay up here for a picture. We are pretty sure this is the first. So let's give them a round of applause. Ms. Nelson, I know we were part of that that dirty old Franklin County group that Scott County knew and liked.
Now that we're not apart anymore, they're wins.
Oh goodness! All right, I'm gonna turn it over to you with that.
Okay, I'm not sure what to say, but okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Congratulations to everybody and thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Next on our agenda is public comment, and we have a couple of folks who'd like to speak, and before we get started, if folks are going to go, we'll go ahead and let everybody exit and get started with the rest. Okay, number 4, agenda approval. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is public comment. We do have a couple folks who'd like to speak with us this evening, and just to give a brief little description on how we proceed, I will go ahead and call as folks are signed up here. You're welcome to come and speak. We usually ask no more than 5 minutes, if you could please. We will listen to what you have to say, but once you're done speaking, we will not make comment or usually, make comments, what have you, but we do wanna thank you for coming in. And, everything will be duly noted and, we'll do our best to follow up or what have you, so, just to kind of explain how everything works. The first person on our list is Allison Adams. If you'd like to come on up and have a seat here at our table, and there's a microphone there for you. No, you're just here to talk to us. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. I have talked to many people this past week over bullying. I'm not gonna go over my speech because I read that little paper, but I do have a speech if you guys would like to go over it. Basically, there's an issue going on with bullying in Scott County, whether people realize it or not. There's been over 150 comments on the Georgetown Mom site that I had started about the issue with my son who was institutionalized last Monday over it. His paperwork states right here that the reason why he had to be institutionalized was because of the bullying that had happened in school. He had been threatened to be unalived, told that he was worthless, unloved, and numerous things. I took it to administration did nothing. There's a lot of moms that are scared to be here because of the recognitions that they can have with their children. So I'm here basically stating that something has to change. I don't know if it starts here or if I need to go to Frankfurt, but something has got to give with these kids. It's not fair to them. My son is on homebound. He hates it. We've been crying every day this week. I'm too scared to send him back to school. He's been choked, hit with chairs, pinched, basically you name it. What got him institutionalized is one of his bullies told him to cut himself because that takes the pain away. And he did this. So something's got to give. And it's not just mine. It's, like I said, it's many. There's a mom back there whose daughter is here today who's on homebound over being ridiculed as well. She's the only one that did show up. So kudos to her because the other moms were, like I said, they're too scared. Their exact words is, I'm scared of the school board. Why, I don't know. But I'm not from here, so I feel like I'm not being heard. I have text messages from the teacher stating that my kid's not the issue and she's never had issues out of those children. Whenever I pulled him into SCOLA, the teacher has deleted that whole type read. Needless to say, I've taken screenshots, so I have proof of what was said. And her just pushing it under the rug. Something's gotta give. These are the reasons why school shootings happen. Something's got to give before the unthinkable happens, which the unthinkable tragedy has already happened once already this year, or last year, I can't remember. But something's gotta give, or else we're gonna be on national news as well. And that's scary to say. But when you have a kid that comes home and says it's not gonna stop until something makes it stop, that's 12. And sits there and says that I have a plan to hang myself because that's the only way it's gonna stop. What do? Put yourself in a parent's shoes. If that was your child, what would you do? Personally, I feel like the school system has failed our children. A lot of them. How many people are on homebound right now that were bullied and their consequences is being on homebound, but yet their bullies get to go on to another student, and then another student, and another student. Homebound's not the answer. It's not fair to my kid to not be able to go on field day, or his 5th grade graduation, or see his brother graduate kindergarten because he's too scared to set foot in the school. Something's gotta give. And I guess that wraps mine up. But something's gotta give, you guys. I don't know what it is. Hopefully I can have more moms come behind me. And I do plan on going to Frankfurt. I plan on taking this as far as I can because something's got to give.
Thank you for coming and sharing with us. And I do want to say to you, Ms. Adams, all of our phone numbers and emails are online if anybody wants to reach out to us. We're listed online for a reason.
I've tried and tried and tried.
And I understand, we've heard that before, so, but I'm just letting you know we welcome that, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Buford Feltner, please. Yes. Good evening.
Thank you. I'm kind of glad I went second. I don't care if I get mine answered or not, but I want to make a comment on what the lady was just talking about. I'm 79 years old. I've got 3 great grandchildren in Scott County High School right now. From the one in middle school and 2 in high school. And bullying is a problem. But bullying is not only a problem with Scott County, it is a universal problem. It is a universal problem. And I've dealt with it, and the thing that I want to encourage the lady who just spoke, and I'm sure she has, but anyone else, is we have resources at Scott County High School that I know work. I know they work. I know they can't work in all instances because all children are not the same, and the situations are not the same. But I do know that when we put those pieces of the puzzle together and cooperate, they do work. So I promise you it does. I know I've been there. And I've got, most people that know me understand that I am a kid-teacher person. I really don't care about anybody else from that standpoint as far as, I believe in children. Never have I not believed in children. And I believe in our education system. I love the education from a little boy. I still love it, and I still study to this very day and yearn to learn more and more. But I've learned over the years that educational systems are like any other system. They only work if we use those systems the way they're designed to be used and take advantage of those systems to do what need to be done. And they will work. And I feel for the lady back there and wish her the best. But I do want people to understand that I get a little tired when we from the outside looking in, and she's on the inside looking at it. She knows what's going on. I do too. But schools get busted up because that they're not they're not superheroes that can fix all these problems. But it's not the school's fault always. So we need to work together and utilize the systems that we have in place before we try to take it into our own hands. And I think we'll be successful most of the time, because I've seen it happen. Now, the main thing I came here tonight, and the lady mentioned only a month of school left, and that's hard to believe. It seems like it. If I'm at home with my grandson in high school, it's not hard to believe. I mean, it's been a long time, okay? But it really is. It's hard to believe that school's about over. But I'm very proud of that group of kids that's been up here today. That makes the meeting worthwhile coming to today. Just that right there. That was very special for our Board of Education and for our school system to recognize them and to be able to see the smiles on their face. Well, I know some of those kids. In fact, I'm kin to one of those young men, and he's very proud of the school system that he's in. He really gives it 100%. My problem, question tonight, not a problem, was we've got a new high school being built. If you've not been out there and seen it, you'd be amazed. I go by it every day, and I have since it started, and it's amazing how far they've come along with the high school. And I assume it's supposed to have its first class 24, 25, is that correct? What are we going to do about districting? I know that now we've got approximately 1,800 students at GC, HS, and only 1,200, a little bit less than 1,200 at Scott County. And what is the capacity of Great Crossings High School? Do you know, sir?
1,500 is what it's
At
designed.
Great Crossings?
What it's designed, but generally 1,500 student high schools can hold more than that, clearly.
Because I know we got it extra. So it's basically a capacity there. And when it started out, we were like a couple of hundred people different, and there were 600 different, so I'm wondering when we need to redistrict, because we could for a while there see a brand new high school be at, like, say, 70% capacity, and another one at over 100%, and yet the kids in that district are going to get to go to their school if they're in that Great Crossing district, unless we do something to divide it up to where it is equal, more equal for all the student population. So that was the main gist for me to come out tonight. I just wanted to, I try to come every now and then. I just wanted to check on that.
And Mr. Felder, you and I have spoken a
Yeah.
few times in the past, and I know you spent some time with Mr. Wells as well, and we
Mhm.
talked about some of these things, so I'll give you a buzz, because this one I can
Okay,
get you there pretty quick on.
sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Number 6, consent agenda items A through I. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is our construction report. Hello, Tony.
Hello.
Glad you can make it.
Yes, thank you.
I hear the traffic was a little challenging.
Oh, I was sitting dead. Yes. So I'm not, well, good evening, and I don't have an agenda, so I'm not sure, this is probably an action item later, but I'll go over it in my construction report if that's okay.
Sure.
So, exciting about the concession stand everybody's been waiting for at the Georgetown Middle School. This is a slide that I showed you last time just to relate it to where the middle school is, or the football, the road behind the grandstands. You can see the floor plan down in the lower right corner. Zoom in a little bit, you can see the ramp from the grandstands, lands in the plaza right in front of where the new concession stand will be, and the hill and the road behind it there. Now we have an actual, these are final plans that you're approving tonight, so collective bargaining requires final plan approval, even though they're not really looking at them much these days. We still have to go through the process of the board approval, and we will submit these to the Kentucky Department of Education. But you can see the footprint of the building there and some concrete plaza around it and where the ramp is, so there'll be a nice little plaza area there for people coming out of the stands. And that just blows it up a little bit more. You can see the concrete work around there. We've really worked over the last month. We reported on this facility. I've got a little better plan this time. I remember the last one was a little fuzzy. So we've really been working on budget. And I know Mike Edip in our office and others have been meeting with Mr. Ellison and really trying to do what we can to minimize the cost on this project, because I think the last 4 projects in a row that we bid in Central Kentucky has gone to either rebid or value engineering. It's still, inflation is still occurring, especially in the construction industry. And some of that is because it's hard to find contractors and work and labor. It's that the materials have leveled off, but so many people have work that they just charge a lot more work because they've got work somewhere else. But so some of the things with the foundations and the fill and the electrical panels and and Mr. Ellison's been on a lot of those discussions as well. Just to let you all know, we're trying to bring those back down to earth just so that we can build, of course, a nice facility, block and brick and wood truss and shingles and some concrete around it. But at the same time, just don't do things that are unnecessarily expensive if we can find a way to bring it down. So here's the concessions building with, nothing's really changed from what you saw at design development. The concessions on the right, we have taken out all the tables and equipment, and that will do, of course, to help the cost of the facility through the GC package. So those will be provided by the owner. There's a 3-compartment sink in the back there. Well, I think I have a blow over that. But so there's the concessions, women's, men, mechanical, storage to the left. If we blow it up, you can see the 3-compartment sink there in the back, and then a hand sink. Those, of course, will be in the project and are required by the health official. A little door in and out on the right there. The women's restroom, 4 toilet sink, baby changing station, mechanical with a mop sink. The next is the men. You can see the fixtures there, and a storage room with a double storage on the right. And when it's all done, we hope it looks like this. If you if you received a PowerPoint, I don't know if you received a PowerPoint a day or two ago. I've upgraded that with a few of those pictures are not the same that you had in there. And I realized we had a gable-in roof, a gable at each end, and it had changed to a hip roof like you see in this picture, and that's pretty much it. And the water fountains there that are shown recessed or not, it's a small building, so there's not a lot to talk about, so just telling you about some of the details that have changed. But should be a very nice looking facility. I'm sure the middle school will get a lot of use out of it.
What's the square footage, Sean?
Well, that's a good question.
50 by 24, is that what it shows?
Did it show that dimension there?
Yeah.
There you go,
58
There you go,
58, so that's,
58. Okay,
yeah,
all right,
60
gotcha.
by 1. So
Okay.
about
And that
13,
concession
14
area,
hundred.
that center, is that like a walkway or,
The mechanical room?
no, in the actual concession?
Oh, no, it's actually just, it's all a wall,
Like the
no.
opening right
No,
there.
it's just like
Yeah,
a
right there.
view, it's just a view, it's an open window view
Okay.
through there. So you can still have the wall space for tables and things like that, but be able to work in the back and see out see out what's going on. Yeah, so you can stand at the 3-compartment sink and see somebody at the window, you know, wanting a hot dog and some popcorn.
And when is this project slated to be complete?
As in go out to bid, complete
Well,
as
we know
in
we
final.
have bid, yeah, it'll come up and
Yeah,
then.
well, and we've talked about that over the last couple of days, because the biggest thing is getting, well, we'd like to be done by August, but that can really can't happen, but we wanna have the shell and plywood and roofing in place before, and does middle school start practice on the 2nd or 3rd of August, something like that? Like to have the bulk of that in place, before they start practicing in the games. Are the middle school games late August, something like that?
No, we're starting earlier every year.
Oh, are they? So I don't, and that's something we need to discuss is when the first home game is, but the intention is to get the bulk of the building, get out of the ground, get the grade back around it, get the block walls up and the trusses, so the daily work would only be people more walking in and out, not big deliveries and big holes and things of that nature.
Okay.
Because once we get the structure up, we can leave that sidewalk open and put a barricade around it, and people can still go up and down the sidewalk to the ramp there.
Well, Tony,
Mhm.
No good questions ever started.
we built 2 schools in about a year's time, so I'm assuming this won't take too long, right?
No,
I mean, with football season right around the corner.
well, if Wilburn gets a job, we might be in there next month. We just might be in there next. Yeah, Wilburn might not do this one, but, so that was a long answer to, I think November should be when they should wrap this up. Maybe around Thanksgiving time, hopefully we're doing closeout documents and things of that nature. But that, unfortunately, that's past the football season. Of course, there's probably some spring things going on there too. But we need to get it out of the ground during the summer and good weather, and hopefully get the bulk of the building in place
Yeah,
before
soccer
football starts. Yeah, exactly, yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
It's a very
Just
simple
saying.
sport.
I get it, yeah. Are you saying you want me to reduce the time to the contractor?
August.
Well,
No pressure.
well,
It's okay, go ahead.
all it does is raise the price.
I was waiting for that.
What we often hear is good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick 2 of those. So that was it for the final plans, and I assume there's a BG3 on the, thank you. Okay, so
Yes,
the
it
next
is.
agenda item, which it hasn't changed from it's a cost estimate form for KDE, hasn't changed from what it was at the design development, or I think from the BG1, so, of course, like I said, the last 4 projects it's crazy how inflation's going. We're hoping it sticks to that number of 500,000 on the BG3. And that's why we've been working with Dwayne as much as we can to try to just keep that cost down as much as possible. So that's the BG3.
Right.
and the final plans. Any questions on that? Okay, well, I'll move into the high school construction report. Again, they're moving, they've had, good weather. Some things start raining on them a little bit later today, but brick is up. So you can see the insulation and the brick, and they're working on metal panels, not on site, but they're trying to get them to the site. Here we'll zoom in. Well, it didn't zoom in as quite as far as I thought, but you can see a lot of progress. And here's inside the gymnasium. They've got the super trusses up, and they're putting joists on the super truss. And to the left of there, you can see they're putting the concrete upper bleacher risers in. Here's the culinary lab downstairs, so a lot of work, a lot of utilities getting put in. Here's up on the top level. Of course, there's even another level, which is the mechanical penthouse there on the left, as you see, even is another level up. But there's looking down on the stairwell, and the gym walls in front of you, that open spot straight in the middle of the slide is the auditorium behind. Here's the art room, nice big window up there. That's up on the top floor. Here's the media center with the roof already put on. So again, they're moving quickly. And here's a great shot looking, you have a similar at Great Crossing, but of course it's going to be different. That's it. Standing in
Greater Hall?
That's the greater hall. Well, it depends on which principal you're talking to. So, and there's just, that bridge is just, it's kind of a simple precast bridge, but it's going to really be nice down there with Kraken Creek blowing under it, and we get the grass and things. So I just thought.
I think we ought to paint it blue.
Ooh, there's blue. There's that word again. And for today, that's it for the construction report, unless anyone has any questions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom. Number 8, approve BG3 for Georgetown Middle School concession building.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approve final plans for Georgetown Middle School concessions building.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, approve to award bid by Consulting Services Incorporated, CSI, for the new Scott County High School Athletic Complex.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, approve change order for doors. It's a credit.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, student achievement report. Good evening.
Good evening. In your folders, you have a copy of just kind of the overview of what we're going to look at today. So our team is already planning for the 2023-24 school year, and so I want to go over what our professional development plan is going to be, as we'll submit that on May 1st. So as you know, that first bullet point, Kentucky requires 24 hours of professional development, which is the equivalent to 4 6-hour days. So here's our plan in how we are going to incorporate that. So before school, August 9th for elementary and 11th for secondary, we will have a professional development day, kind of like a mini conference for each group, where they will go and rotate through sessions. We're going to have like a keynote. We're going to have some student presentations, just really try to, make it a really great way for our teachers to come back and start. So they will get 6 hours then. And then we're really focusing on professional learning, which is that long term. And so they will do 3 2-hour sessions after school on set dates. And that will be around a cohort. And that cohort will be designed around a professional growth plan. And so they and their principal, as they develop that growth plan, they will choose a cohort. So if you want to look down below the box, I kind of gave you some options. So that professional development day, the one day before school, those are in collaboration with our principals from elementary and secondary and the OSL team, we came to a list of those professional development. So that's a one-time session that they get for the year. And in listening to our public comment, we do know that mental health and working with student behaviors is a need. And if you look through that list, it is a really good balance of not just the things that we see like active mathematics or EL strategies. We have sessions on mindfulness with our students and effective executive functioning, sensitive student conversations. We have digital citizenship, which is a huge piece because a lot of what we are seeing around bullying and mental health does have a very, very digital component through social media and other platforms. In addition, we are going to be having a conversation around synthetic drug awareness, both at the elementary and high level, because we want our teachers to understand how it's being marketed to our youth. De-escalation sessions on teaching our teachers how to navigate those situations, and difficult parent conversations. So we do hear the need, and so we are making sure that we are also intentionally providing professional development opportunities for our teachers. And then the ongoing professional learning, which will happen through 6 hours throughout the school year, and on the collab days on the calendar that you all approved, half that day will also be towards their cohort. So specific ongoing professional learning for our teachers throughout the year. And you can see the different cohorts that are listed there. I won't go in detail. But, really taking teachers and fine-tuning what we're doing. And then we also have a special topic. So we have all these like special population of teachers like CTE teachers and art teachers or counselors or library media. And so during those cohorts, they will have time where they will be built in to the school calendar where they will have time to collaborate and plan amongst the entire district. So we're really excited about this plan. I think it's going to give our teachers, a little nugget at the beginning of the year, but then they'll have ongoing as well. I do want to add, we do have some groups that are doing some district PD like Horton Gillingham, and that's 30 hours in the summer. So we're working with them to where they just go to like a little piece of the day starting off to get the information that we want everyone to get. And then only meeting on those collab days because we want to be respectful of the fact that they have spent time during the summer. And so there's a couple of groups like that we're kind of fine tuning because of their commitment that they're doing for things that we are wanting as a district. So kind of working with them and managing what that looks like. So do you all have any questions about professional development? Yes, Elmer?
I do, Stephanie, thank you. I know in block scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
are there any
Right. Yes.
PD on here? for
So
them?
that looks a little different. So our high school principals and Deborah Reed have been planning a session that they're going to be doing on May 16th. They're going to bring all the high school teachers together on, which is election day, and which is a collab day. And they are creating a 3-hour session where those teachers are going to understand how to structure that time, give them strategies that they can embed to utilize and make sure they have lots of engagement. And then one thing I forgot to add about the PD plan is our schools also there's PD days built into the calendar that they can also use. So our high schools are going to use one of their PDs at the beginning of the year, and they will circle back to that before school starts as well. So we're starting in May, and then providing support again right before school starts, so that they can make that adjustment to more time. But yeah, that was a great question.
Thank you.
Yes.
Stephanie, I see one of the PD options is iReady, and
Yes.
I'm wondering how widely we're going to be using that. I know we
Yeah.
piloted it.
So we are, one of the things that is on there, there's also a June PD for teachers to really jump in and learn. But we're doing full implementation on K through 8. And not only is there a PD session on those PD days at the beginning, there's also a cohort that teachers can choose to be a part of if they want that continuation of learning. And we want those people to really help become the experts in iReady and be a resource for the teachers in that building. So yeah. Great question. All right. The other piece is some exciting thing that I want to share with you, and I have to give Susan some props. At one of our board meetings, we were talking about some of the, looking at other school districts and seeing what they're doing around block scheduling and deeper learning. And Susan made the suggestion of why don't we go outside Kentucky? And so an opportunity, yeah, it was a great suggestion. So we had the opportunity, CKEC opened up the opportunity for us, for a few of us, to go to the Deeper Learning Conference in San Diego. They paid for our registration, which was very expensive, and so we're very grateful that they gave us that opportunity. And I kind of just gave you some good talking points about what we learned from that experience, and then how that's going to guide our team as we support the deeper learning. But anyways, like I said, it was at High School High, which I don't know if you've ever heard of High School High, but it is known or High Tech High, sorry, High Tech High. It's known for being, it's known for being a very state-of-the-art, cutting-edge practices, and a lot of school districts, look at them across the nation and the world as a leader. And so it was a conference, and it was people from all around the world, what they consider us as change makers in how we are looking at redesigning what education looks like and providing students with those true deeper educational opportunities. And so it was very immersive. We had the opportunity to tour High Tech High, High Tech Middle, High Tech Elementary. They also have a High Tech Media building, a High Tech International building. And so really in the way that they were able to showcase student work. And then also they were on spring break, but they had students who stayed and also helped facilitate the sessions, and they were leaders to the adults. They talked to us about how they utilize student voice and advocacy, which is one of our directions for next year. We got to truly be a part of project-based learning, and it was really exciting. I know one of the sessions that I did, they gave us a statement, and we had to create a physical model. So like our model had to be some type of device that I could buy a car with. And so, but also design the car, build a car, and so like we had to, and all they gave us was like arts and craft supplies. And so we had to, it really got our minds thinking. So they really immersed us in the experience of what students go through. And of course also they are very big on student presentations, which is our other focus for next year. And so, so obviously CKEC knows what they're doing as they lead us through this. But it was just a really great experience. And so our team, we wanted to make sure that, because it is an expensive endeavor, but next year we are going to be sending school leaders and hopefully some teachers to that so that they can learn and immerse themselves in what that can look like. So we can bring those innovative practices back to Scott County. We're also going to invest in sending groups to Ron Clark Academy, which in Atlanta, which they do a great deal of innovative work and taking people, seeing that, and just really looking, like you suggested, looking at things that are outside of just Kentucky that we can bring awesome practices back to Scott County. So, yeah, it was a really good experience. I want to give you an update on that, and I thank you for kind of saying, hey, go do this. And so we're excited as we spread that throughout our administrative team across the district and our teacher leaders. So just give you a little thank you, and that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Number 13, approved contract between Multi-Sensory Education, IMSE, and the Scott County Board of Education.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, approve agreement between Franklin Covey Client Sales, Inc., The Leader in Me, and Scott County Board of Education.
Move to approve the agreement between Franklin Covey Client Sales, the Leader in Me, and Scott County Board of Education, subject to revisions to be negotiated and executed by the superintendent in consultation with board attorney.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, approve memorandum of understanding between JAG Kentucky and Scott County Schools for the 2023-2024 school year.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, create positions 16A through 16C for the 2023-2024 school year.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, create and ratify 17A through 17M for the 2023-2024 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, create one full-time classified accountant payroll position at Scott County Board of Education office.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 19, approve 19A and 19B, Section 7 modifications and additions for Scott County High School and Great Crossing High School.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 20, approve pledge of collateral agreement for 2023-2024.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 21, approve 2023-2024 school activity fund budgets.
Make
Move.
motion.
And second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, approve 23 capital funds request, second request.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 23, approve fiscal year 2023 financial audit contract.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 24, award bid for trash garbage pickup and disposal for 2024.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 25, approve surplus items as submitted.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 26, financial statements.
In front of you, what you've been given earlier, the March 2023 financial statements. Our beginning balance was $115 million. Our receipts for the month was $7.4 million. Our expenses for the month were $13.4 million. And our ending cash balance was $109 million. We have $74.9 million in investments from our New Scott County High School, leaving our ending cash balance at $34,266,910.80. Any questions?
Thank you, Gina. Number 27, approve current bills.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 28, superintendent report.
All right, so standard one, Everybody Counts is an initiative that I've talked a little bit about through the Kentucky Department of Education and the Workforce Development. We've been, myself and Stephanie Emmons, we've been meeting with them. Again, they're looking to work with us and our high schools on just ensuring that every student has some sort of path forward after high school, to be it college or career, and they're providing coaches for that. This year's gonna look a little different. They're really just kind of looking to go ahead and kind of get in our schools. They want students that don't appear to have a very solid plan for after graduation that they're gonna go with. I believe there was another local district that I think they said it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 students. So we're a little bit larger than that district, so maybe that'll be about 60 students for us, assuming that the proportion holds there. But at any rate, it's just another resource for us. Again, this is an initiative that's been put forth by the governor that's got around $5 million put towards it. I think we're the 5th district in the state of Kentucky that's now a part of this. So not many districts are a part, but we're certainly thankful for what it looks like will be, again, not something extra, but something that they will use to add on to what we're already trying to do for our students. I did want to point out, I didn't have this on your sheet, so if you want to add it, one, I would say thank you all very much for the approval of the Leader in Me. The Leader in Me, one of the facts that I think would be timely to share is that with the Leader in Me, you see a 22.8% reduction in discipline referrals, of which some of those pertain to bullying. Certainly not all, but certainly it does make a difference. And you know, many of the challenges that we face in our schools are there's no silver bullet to resolve any of those. So it's going to take a variety of different things to make a sizable difference. Standard 2, instructional leadership. Spring site visits have begun, started at Southern today, and I will be finishing those up here in the next couple weeks. And then we had a meeting actually today to talk about HVAC programming. And again, you all know that skilled trades are something that we value and that we're really trying to make sure we've got the staff, specifically the staff, in place for that. And you know, it's interesting to see that the community knows we're making efforts, and I think they're seeing that it's a lot more challenging than simply saying we want to do it, so let's do it. But again, we're working through that for sure, and we've got several prospects, so I'm very hopeful for what we'll be able to do there. Cultural leadership, Mayor Jenkins, he starting in January, he wanted to visit all the schools, and several of his visits I wasn't able to attend because of scheduling conflicts, but I was able to attend with him here this past week. We went to Western Stamping Ground and Scott Middle, so I believe that's for the most part finished up his first round. It's something that he said he was committed to trying to do, because he said public schools is a big part of our community, and he wants to have a good understanding of what's going on and what the struggles and challenges are, and how the community can help, which I thought was a positive thing for sure. Spring athletic signings at Great Crossing High School happened here recently, and the STLP State Conference took place at Rupp Arena, as it does annually. And that'll be something, that might be something we'll try and maybe all of us can work in going, or a few of us, or whatever. But it was really neat. You know, Tucker Brewer, where you at, Tucker? Tucker was there. He was dressed mostly like a superhero that day, with cape accompaniment, and he was very helpful to me as I was trying to find my way around the complex and figure out where all of our schools were. But we had a lot of schools that participated and finished quite well, some that won their areas. Again, possible recognition in the future. And then Standard 4, Human Resources Leadership, finished up allocation meetings with our schools. Standard 5, we hired a Scott Middle School principal, and she's here front row, Miss Kelly Beckett. So that is certainly a positive. We look forward to the leadership of Miss Beckett and what that holds for Scott County Middle School in the future. And then we also completed the Scott County High School Athletic Complex bond sale. Again, as a reminder that, I mean, as I've been telling everybody, the cupboards are bare. It took what we had to get there, but we're there, and the residents of Stonehenge can tell you that they are working on that complex, because they tell me every day too. So we're getting close on. It does seem like there is still a little bit of blasting to do, and I think some of that was a result of our value engineering, but some of it I think maybe we encountered rock in some places that we didn't expect. So at any rate, they're trying to do their best to knock that out at ideal times. Not always possible though. Collaborative leadership. We had the Scott County Schools Profile of a Learner kickoff launch party, and you know, Stephanie Emmons, the Office of Student Learning, Student Services team, I mean, they just crushed it. It was beautiful. You could attest. It was, I mean, it just really was great. Pleased all the senses. They had food, and then Paul's magical dance mix of clean launch party celebration mix, I think is what he called it, something of that effect. It was also. I think everyone's Spotify. But anyways, that was good, and like we talked about that night, the reason we're going so big with it is just because we're committed to making sure that it's not something that sits on a shelf. It's something that we will use to drive everything and filter everything through moving forward. Also, so the next two are sort of connected. The opioid abatement community group meeting, again, that's the group that Karen Butcher has kind of spearheaded. And that group has come together to just talk about maybe, what are we doing as a community? Are there things that maybe are outside the walls of public education? Maybe not, but how we can possibly apply for grants for some things that might meet the needs of Scott County's community and our students. And then we also had a meeting, and it really was because of this opioid group that I'm a part of that I was able to meet Corey Council. He lives in Franklin County. He lost his son to addiction, and he's a recovery coach now for the Georgetown Police Department. He him and two plainclothes police officers that work in that realm, in that area, and they talked a little bit to us about the things that they do, ways we can work and partner together. They're seeing some of the needs that we are seeing. We have students that are their drug use is persistent, and there's not facilities, there's not resources for us to utilize for students, and they're seeing that too. And so they're going to be helpful to us with some sort of push statewide at the fact that we've got to have some resources there, because how do you even get to thinking about education when you've got addiction in the mix, and to me that's kind of a basic need issue that needs to be addressed first. Last two, Standard 7, influential leadership. I'm a part of we're calling it a PLC. It functions very much like a PLC, and it's through the Kentucky Association of School Superintendents, and it's a group of second and third year superintendents, and on occasion we'll get together. Usually it's the latter half of one day and the earlier half of the following day, and that kind of gives everybody a chance to not be out of the office for a complete day, so that's been nice. And like in this case, I think if I recall correctly, I had to leave to hire a principal one day, so I was there for a piece of the day the first day. But long story short, that has been a very, very helpful group to be a part of, and it's helped me stay connected to my cohort as well. And that was something that they didn't have, and we're kind of that first group. We're kind of the guinea pigs for it, but it's been helpful. And then, lastly, just the Chamber of Commerce presentation that we had right after spring break. I've got that on there as well. The last thing I'll say, we've got upcoming events, senior-specific events. I've got a little sheet for you, and Renee's probably going to send this out to you, or you might be in your packet perhaps even too, so if it is, I apologize. But anyway, this is just all senior activities. I hand wrote on there because I'm thrifty and didn't want to make new copies, that valedictorians will be announced publicly at noon, so I'll make sure that was on there as well. But again, this should encompass everything for seniors. I'll have another, a separate, I don't know if it'll be an email or whatever, but we'll have something separate for just end of the year events, such as, we've got retirement reception, we've got employee awards, different things like that aren't senior specific. So I'll communicate that out. And last thing I wanted to just kind of say, I know we spoke kind of as a group after the last meeting. The May meeting, the regular May meeting, I had fumbled that up and scheduled that for the same night as the Phoenix Horizon graduation. So we've already talked, I just want to make sure we've kind of said it publicly that, we're looking at that May 16th and make sure everybody was good for a special call that'll be structured a lot like a regular meeting. But that's a Tuesday, that's actually election day. So just making sure everybody.
At 6:30.
Had it at 6:30, that's correct. So I just didn't want to miss that. I thought that'd be good to kind of say out loud so everybody that was here to hear. And I think that's all I got. Sorry, it was a lot.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Now, Liz, what is this throwback walk?
I couldn't tell you.
Don't they go to the elementary?
Yeah.
school?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't, yeah.
The college
yes,
seniors.
yes, sorry.
Or high school
High
seniors,
school
excuse me.
So that's been through
Goodness
the
gracious.
I didn't know we called it that.
I didn't either.
Okay.
I didn't know that's what it's called either, but I just assumed that was.
That's a nice one.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes, Billy, while we're sitting here, how or when do you think, we will make a call on rain
Well, so
for
I'll just,
graduation?
I'll say this. I recall last year, Scott County High School was impacted. And as I recall, it was, I mean, I want to say it was somewhere, maybe it was noon, as late as noon that day. I can't, my memory doesn't serve me, but I remember sweating bullets until the time of graduation, and I've got pictures on my phone where I took them to say, look, it was horrible. It was horrible, we did the right thing.
I
Oh, yeah.
remember doing the same thing, saying just please rain.
I know.
Yeah.
After we called it, I did, yeah.
Yeah, because it was one of those where at the time of the call, it hadn't rained, and, but it did in fact.
I was giving him a lot of grief, so he was
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I would certainly as soon as possible, and we might have ended up going a little bit later, but it'd be, generally it would be a,
as close as we can to the
Yes,
date.
yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that while we're sitting here, so everybody understands. Okay.
and not to, I mean, I'm not at all trying to pile on or anything, but I really and truly, I have not heard anything complaint-wise regarding the graduation plan.
I heard nothing negative last year when we did have to utilize the change. you know.
Oh, yeah, no,
I mean,
no.
that next date, I mean, it was beautiful, the weather was perfect, everybody was there.
So,
Okay, all sounds good, I appreciate that. Next up is board comments. I just want to briefly just say thank you for, everything we're about to endure. We had a busy month, and, it's always, we look at it, I think, probably on our side of things as an exciting time. All this work that you guys put in, and, here it all comes to fruition, so thank you very much for this coming month, just ahead of time. A lot of things that will be programmed, a lot of exciting things, and we look forward to those, hearing all about them as well. So, Stephanie, thank you for your first year here with us. You're a breath of fresh air, and you were so positive. So, during all the tough comments, tough questions, tough everything, you really rise and shine. So, thank you. And you would like to speak?
I was just going to say that at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, Billy was the keynote speaker, and he did an excellent job. I mean, I've heard people, his dad told me he thought he had done. No, but anyway, he made us very proud from Scott County. And I heard several people say, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So thanks, Billy, for representing us so well.
Would you like to talk about the student learning? You were going to
Yes,
talk about that as well? Do you want
Sure.
to add that into your board comments?
And it, as they said, it was electrifying, that's all you can say. It was brought up several times about the Chamber of Commerce and how active they are with that, which of course brings in Georgetown and the city, but it's very good. And I think so is that part of the teaching? The teacher, they'll get to have a part of this?
Yes, so, yeah, it's all part of that deeper learning work.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay, but it was, I really enjoyed it, and we sat with the mayor, and he was telling us about his visits to the schools, and, so anyway, but yes, thank you again for, leading this.
All right, Susan?
I think I'm good, she got me.
Okay.
She's
Lindsay?
good, she's good.
You always have to make a positive comment. There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes you feel good. Anyway, I just, I'm so proud of Miss Scott County.
Me too.
I'm so proud. And I just have to say, Mr. Billy Parker, I'm proud of you. You have connected us to so many different people, so many different groups, and they're positive. And I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you, Diana, for being such a wonderful chair.
Thank you.
Calling me and calling us and making sure we know what's going on. But I mean, this board is amazing, and it's just great when you get to work with great, positive people.
That's bonus points from the check.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, goodness.
Okay,
I'm
Becky,
pretty
we're full of
much-
sunshine today, go ahead.
Yeah, and Amen, Wendy, and Eleanor, that was what I'd written in, of course, to Eleanor, to commend Mr. Parker on his, not only informative, and it was really informative, but his powerful speech at the Chamber of Commerce in front of a lot of VIPs, legislators, people who really needed to hear not only about what's going on in an amazing way in Scott County schools, but also how we all have to band together and protect our educational system because it is under attack. And so we need to stand up and be in unity about protecting it because we have something very good going here in Scott County. And the other thing I was going to say was I was having lunch with my adult son today, he's 40, and I said, I'm going to go out and shop for a dress because I have 3 graduations to go to. And he said, oh, 3 graduations. I said, you don't know how much I am looking forward to that. I love graduation. So, as we said, it's a culmination of really great things going on here in Scott County, and I'm excited to be there.
Wonderful. Well, number 30, we are going to now move to closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810, open paren 1, close paren C, excuse me, just 1C to discuss proposed litigation.
Move.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Now, this about we're having to meet again, said possibly next week.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
yes,
Special session.
we may have, it'd probably be easier because Frank's out right now, and the student in question, we're not to a point where I could even really project what
Okay.
day that